The story of Jahseh Onfroy, known to the world as XXXTentacion, is one of the most controversial, tragic, and captivating journeys in modern music. It's a story filled with darkness, raw emotion, and turbulent chaos, but also one of redemption, impact, and an undeniable legacy that continues to echo years after his death. Born in 1998 in Plantation, Florida, Jahseh's early life was anything but easy. He grew up in broken homes, often shuttled between family members and group homes. His father was incarcerated for much of his childhood, and his mother struggled to provide stability. From the beginning, Jahseh carried with him a storm of pain and confusion, and that storm became both his greatest curse and his creative fuel. As a teenager, Jahseh was volatile, impulsive, and often violent. He was expelled from middle school after a series of fights and later found himself in juvenile detention. But behind the aggression was a young man searching for belonging, for identity, and most of all, for a way to be heard. While in juvenile detention, he met Ski Mask, the slump god, a friendship that would lead to the creation of the members-only collective and the first spark of a career in music. His early songs were raw, chaotic, and filled with rage. Tracks like Look at Me exploded online, fueled by distorted beats and violent delivery. It was a sound unlike anything mainstream hip-hop was offering at the time. XXXTentacion became the face of the SoundCloud rap generation, rebellious, unfiltered, and dangerous. But with that fame came scrutiny. His violent outbursts, arrests, and accusations of abuse painted him as one of the most controversial figures in music. Despite the chaos, fans felt something real in his music. He didn't just rap about money or fame, he rapped about depression, suicide, loneliness, and betrayal. His honesty resonated with a generation that was battling its own demons. Songs like Jahseh Onfroy, Sad, and Changes became anthems for young people who felt unseen and unheard. X gave them permission to confront their darkness, but his personal life often overshadowed his music. He faced charges of domestic abuse, allegations that split the fanbase into those who saw him as a monster and those who saw him as a troubled kid trying to grow. In interviews, X admitted to his mistakes but also spoke of redemption, spirituality, and change. He often talked about wanting to be remembered not for his flaws but for his ability to inspire people to face their pain and overcome it. When his debut album 17 dropped in 2017, the music industry took notice. This wasn't just rage music anymore, it was vulnerable, quiet, and emotional. The album charted high, but more importantly, it introduced the world to a different side of X. The following year, his album debuted at #1, with Sad becoming his most successful single. Suddenly, the industry that once dismissed him now realized he was a generational talent. At the same time, X was trying to turn his life around. He started charity events, donated to causes, and frequently went live on Instagram to talk about self-love, positivity, and healing. To his millions of fans, it seemed like he was truly evolving into a better version of himself. He wasn't just the face of SoundCloud rap anymore. He was becoming a voice of his generation, but his story ended far too soon. On June 18, 2018, at just 20 years old, XXXTentacion was shot and killed in Deerfield Beach, Florida, in what police described as a robbery gone wrong. The news stunned the music world. Fans poured into the streets, leaving murals, candles, and tributes across the globe. Social media exploded with grief. Even those who once criticized him acknowledged the loss of a unique voice that had only begun to scratch the surface of its potential. In death, his music took on new meaning. Sad skyrocketed on the charts, breaking streaming records. His unfinished projects were released, and while some fans debated the ethics of posthumous albums, others were grateful for every last piece of his artistry. Murals appeared in cities around the world. His name became a symbol of both controversy and inspiration. What makes XXXTentacion's story so haunting is the duality of his life. He was both the troubled kid who made terrible mistakes and the visionary artist who inspired millions. He embodied chaos and healing, darkness and light, destruction and creation. His fans often describe him as someone who saved their lives, even as he struggled to save his own. To this day, his music lives on as therapy for many. His lyrics about depression and pain continue to connect with young people who feel misunderstood. For some, listening to XXXTentacion is like having a friend who knows exactly what they're going through. That intimacy, that raw vulnerability, is what secured his legacy. The dangerous life of XXXTentacion is a reminder of the thin line between genius and tragedy. It's a story of a boy who grew up in chaos, who used music to scream his pain into the world, and who, despite his flaws, managed to leave behind a legacy that will echo for decades. He was a reflection of his generation, messy, complicated, and searching for meaning in the middle of the storm. When we talk about contradictions. It was love and hate, violence and peace, despair and hope. And maybe that's why he still resonates so deeply. Because life itself is filled with contradictions, and Jahseh, in all his imperfection, gave us a mirror to face them. Years from now, when people look back at the SoundCloud rap era, his name will stand at the center, not because he was the richest or the most polished, but because he was raw, unfiltered, and unapologetically human. And that, above all, is why XXXTentacion went from darkness to legacy.